Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan and a cast of incredible actors. Jack O'Connell, Michael B. Jordan, again, because he plays his twin. There's a guy in there named Yao. It's just Yao. He was a good actor, but it surprised me that his name was just Yao. Thought that was kind of cool. Lee Ju Lee is in there. She was in a lot of good stuff. The incredible Delroy Lindo is in it, and he's incredible in everything that he does. Omar Benson Miller is in it, basically playing the big guy. He's a bouncer. Miles Canton is in it, and it said in the ending credits that this was introducing him, so it's got to be his first venture. Saul Williams is in there, and he plays the preacher. That guy was good. I liked him and a lot of stuff. He's known for spoken word. I like that guy too. So it was a great cast, and it was a great story. If you're going there looking for a bunch of monsters and people getting eaten up from bell to bell, you're not going to get that. You're going to get a bunch of monsters. You're going to get people torn up. You're going to get people eaten, but it's not bell to bell. The first half, at least the first 3/4 of the movie, is the setup. It introduces the characters and lets you know basically where they stand. All of the characters have specific and individual personalities. Sometimes you see movies, especially like a monster movie, a vampire movie, where they're all the teen. They're either the teen virgin or they're the teen a-hole, and you're waiting for some people to get bit and you're hoping some people get away and stuff like this. It's different in this movie, and I enjoyed that. The movie starts out with Sammy. He's the cousin of the twins, Smoke and Stack, again played by Michael B. Jordan. And Jordan does an incredible job splitting the two characters. You can tell Smoke from Stack. They're the Smoke Stack twins. A couple of gangster guys that had built a reputation of devious, felonious things. They left their town. They went to the big city. They worked for Al Capone, more than likely as muscle, killing people or whatever. It's implied that they robbed Al and then left because they have 500 bottles, or maybe it said cases, of Irish beer, and they've got Italian liquor. So the Irish and the Italian were fighting back then, and they kind of put them against one another, which is good. You know, it reminds me of a Clint Eastwood / Bruce Willis movie a long time ago, where he did the same thing. In both cases, put the two rival gangs against one another. But this movie had a lot of nods to other movies and other things. There was a really big nod to From Dusk Till Dawn. Really big nod to that. People are surrounded by vampires, stuck in a small building where they have to fight the vampires and hope that they make it until the morning. And that's essentially what happens. Smoke and Stack get together, and they got this money that they stole again from the mob, and both of them run into their exes and several people in town that they're going to try to use the services of to open up their own juke joint. I mean, they just got to town. They didn't hang out with family or nothing like that. They came to town and immediately started working on a juke joint. They buy a building from a gentleman who turns out to be Klan, and they get the building. They discover that there's blood on the floor of the building. That's important because they realize, being, devious people themselves, they realize that they're not really buying a club. They're buying a slaughterhouse. They're buying a place where the Klan lures African Americans into the building so that they can kill them. So making a juke joint for Smoke and Stack is great because they'll make money. Selling a juke joint under the pretense that it's a juke joint to Smoke and Stack assures the Klan that they're going to be an ample amount of African Americans, and they didn't call them African Americans, of course, are going to be in this building, and their plan is to come there later and slaughter everybody. They didn't read the script. So they go there, they set the building up. Yao and his wife bring food and other things. He gets his ex-girlfriend, who's the local voodoo priestess. The Mama Loa, I would imagine. They bring her there, and she gets food and everything, and she tells him, "You survived all of this time because of my magic," which makes you think, okay, well, she's got magic, I guess. And he's wearing her mojo bag that she set up for him, that she told him would protect him and his brother. And they went to war. They fought in the war. They were gone for a couple years, and then they went into Chicago and they worked for Capone. And if you're not aware, they were probably shooting at people with Al Capone, and then neither one of them got a scratch. So she told him it protected them. So there's hints that she is aware of the supernatural. They go there, they're having fun and everything. They're at their club. They get a visit by a man. And you know what? There's a lot of things in this movie that makes me think there's going to be a sequel. Maybe a prequel, because they set up for both things. You could have a sequel or a prequel. They set up for both things because they set up for a prequel because the main antagonist, the vampire, shows up, and as soon as he shows up, he's being chased by several Native Americans who clearly know what he is, and they're chasing him in order to, give him the finger across the throat. And they're chasing him, and they must know how to kill him, and they must know about him or his people, because when they see that the sun is going down, they in their chase. So the movie starts off at the conclusion of something else that happened. So people know about these things. There are legitimate vampire hunters out there, so there are people who know about the vampire hunters. What did he do that made them chase him in the first place? What did he do to make them aware of him? There's a whole story there. He talks about being vampiric for a long time. There's a part in the movie where they talk about someone who had passed, and they don't get, there's a couple of people that were important that died, and they just give a vague idea of what happened to these people. So there's a story there. You need to know that there are 2 Easter eggs. There's a mid-scene credit and there's an end credit where something else happens. One of them is very, very important to the story, and it's very important to the story, but it leads to the possibility of a sequel. It leads heavily into the possibility of a sequel. Where I was saying before that this movie reminded me of several other movies, this part reminded me of Vampire in Brooklyn, where Eddie Murphy spent the whole movie as a vampire, killing people, I'm not hungry, I just had Italian, all of that kind of stuff. Through the whole movie, he gets Julius Jones, and he makes him a ghoul, and eventually he becomes a vampire. And at the end, he says, there's a new vampire in town, Julius Jones, and you're waiting for what's going to happen next? There's a new vampire. And they never did anything with that. This movie has a similar kind of a thing where the ending is something where you go, oh, there's more story, and then it slowly goes off. So you're like, wait, they got to come back to that. They definitely set up for more story. So I think there's going to be possibly a sequel and a prequel because they set up for both things. Ryan Coogler is incredible at storytelling. If it's his story, it's incredible. If he's bringing to life someone else's story, it's incredible. He knows how to take a story and present it. And this was, you know what? He's a master chef at the movies. He's an iron chef. You give him some salmon and some halibut and some potatoes and some carrots and whatever, and a room full of seasoning, he's going to make you a meal. This was a good meal. This was a good meal. Now, I want to talk about the differences between this and other movies. This movie leans heavily into the I'm not just a vampire movie kind of thing, and it's good because he, like I said, he does it really, really well. They talk about the music being able to transcend. Sometimes music transcends, and there's a lot of emphasis on the guitar, the blues man's guitar. The two twins state two different places where the guitar came from. I thought that was interesting, and both twin was 100% sure on where that guitar came from. Then the guitar is used, it's pivotal in the movie's conclusion, the guitar is. And then the guitar makes a comeback at the end of the show. So I think that there's something there. And the whole thing was the vampire wanted the guy for his music. So the vampire knew something that probably nobody else knew. He wanted just that one dude and his guitar. There's something to that. Then I want to know more about that guitar. And all of folklore and all of pop culture, there's always supernatural, mystical, magical, alien technology or items that have significance. Green Lantern's ring started out as magical, eventually became science. The Thanos's, the Infinity Stones, his glove. Mostly for the movie it's his glove, but in the comics it was just the individual stones. The stones, a cross when vampires, garlic, holy water. There's items. This guitar, I think, for one reason or another, maybe it's something in the guitar, maybe it's the way the guitar was made, maybe it was the previous owner, but that guitar, I think, has supernatural properties that a lot of people right now in this movie are unaware of. Because he plays a guitar, and because he played it once or twice before, but when he really got into the music, and the narrator says it can bring ghosts and demons from the future and the past. And when he's playing, you get images of people from the past and from the future, from their standpoint. Their past and their future are also in the club. And I thought that was really good storytelling. This was a good movie. If you watch it and you're just waiting for the movie to be dumbed down and just some vampires tearing people up, You'll get that. Sure, you'll get that. But if you look further into the movie and you pay attention to some of the things that are happening, this was a really good, well-woven story. And I think I might see this joint again just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because I was enjoying it so much. And I kept going, oh, I know what that means. I kept doing that. I might have missed some stuff, but it was good. It was really good. I want to say more, but I've given up so much already. I don't want to give up too much of the story. But I would say that this story, Sinners, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, I believe this is their 4th collabo. This movie, they need to do more stuff. But this movie, I would give Sinners, because the storytelling and every single actor brings it. Nobody's phoning it in. Everybody brings it. You feel everything. There's one thing that one of the characters does, because that character is so angry at the premise of the vampires and what they're going to do and the threats that the vampire makes. It generates so much anger in one of the characters that they do something tremendously stupid and put everybody in jeopardy. But everybody at that point was so angry that they didn't mind. I mean, they didn't mind. I mean, imagine if, there's a bunch of your friends and you're standing at a cliff and one of them loses their cell phone or something that's important to them, and you're all tied together because you're climbing a mountain. That person decides to jump off to go get their thing, and it's going to drag you with them. That was the kind of thing. They made a decision that everybody understood jeopardized everyone, but everyone was so close to being just as mad as that person that they just figured they were going to knuckle up. That's the kind of emotion that this movie drags out of its actors, and it sticks in you. It was good. For moments like that, I would give Sinners 9 bags of popcorn. 9 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you had a chance to look at the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.